you should be more, you should be more prepared, because you're paying at nothing is actually free anyway. So it's just that you're not the one paying the cost. You get the idea? You're not the one paying the cost. Somebody's paying the cost. So you should always think about whoever is paying the cost, and then give the person the opportunity to fully, be glad that it's paying whatever cost that it's paying. Great. So let's move ahead. So I believe everyone can see my screen. And yesterday we started from Pandas, and where we talked about what is Pandas. We talked about how to read information into Pandas. So today we're going to look at, like we said, exploratory analysis in Pandas. So I said that we're going to use the this is Python in Pigeon, and see my Pigeon English. My English is strong. So I said we are going to use this data set, because I love the data sets. This what's the data set? Coming, guys. I don't know why my screen is slow to scroll. So I said we're going to use this data set. Yeah, this one. So I said we're going to use this data set, this country data set, where if you copy the URL, let's follow the link. Let's see how to copy let me copy the link. So if I copy down to this place, it's a CSV file that is on the web. Paste it here and run it. So if we do that, you find out that this is a very sorry about that. So I said, if you look at these are locations, continent, population, life. So I think this is a very, very good data that you can look at. And then what I've done is to pull out some questions from it. Okay, so we read it here before. So I'm going to just run this now, run the import pandas set. So let me import pandas, because, now somebody said about, she said if she comes back, so maybe she load data. I know somebody said something like that yesterday. That if you load data, if you need to be downloading the stuff again. Now, because this is what's going on here. So because this is an online stuff, a data set online, that though when I downloaded it, I did not save it inside my Google Drive or any other stuff. So I have to retrieve it again from the web. So I have to retrieve it. So I need to re-download this stuff again. So I'm going to say from the URL library.request. Now request is one of the methods we use for scripting. Request also has its own what's it called? Its own library, request library, where you can put, you can get, you can post, you can delete, and the rest. So you can read up request library for Python. You majorly use that very well when you are working with APIs. Okay, but what we are really interested in is the URL. We just want to get something from this URL. We want to download it. You understand? So that's why we're using URL.retrieve. So this is the URL that we want to. And then when we are done with this URL, the next thing we want to do is that we want to use this URL retrieve to be able to retrieve whatever we get here and save it into this. Save it as, countries.csv. So that's why it's showing this. So let me run. I don't know if let me run this. I don't know if URL dots. Okay, it's only this thing that we are importing. Really importing this thing. Let me check something for your library requests. I don't know if I can just request, but anyways. Okay. Yeah, that's cool. So let me do request.
Sorry, please, can I ask a question?
Please, it's early for that. Can we just give it a little bit? Can we just wait a bit? Let's
Okay.
say someone that here. Okay. So I want to check if we can. So you just keep your question a bit. Okay, remove header, blah, blah, blah. So I'm just trying to see what other stuff that I can get from this request. Okay, fine. So let's go on. Not my interest anyway. Okay, that's my interest anyway. So let's go. So after we've collected this from the URL, then since it's saved here, we have to now read it with pandas. So we are reading it with pandas. That's what we say df is equal to, because the CSV file we are retrieving. It's easy for you to know that it's a CSV file. If you see it here on the web, you see that it's separated by comma. Let me zoom in a little bit here. So you see that each of these this is Afghanistan separated by comma. This is Asia. So that's why they call it CSV, comma separated value. So, or was that? But so because it's CSV format, so that's why we are, it's even stated on the URL that it's a CSV. But I think this is on someone's GitHub repo. This is a GitHub repo. I think so. This is a GitHub. This is somebody's GitHub repo. This is the person's username. This is the person's username, and then this is the GitHub to get the CSV file. I think so. This is the GitHub to get the CSV file. So I don't know. I'm not sure my GitHub is here, but if not, I would have gone to my GitHub and copy the CSV file saved on my GitHub and see if you can web scrape that. So maybe at the end of the class, you guys should remind me. Please, is that understood? Huh?
Yeah, yes, sir, yes, sir.
Yeah, so maybe at the end of the class, remind me. So let's go to GitHub and then we'll see what we can scrape out. We'll just look for a random CSV file, whatever, and see how we can just scrape it out from there. All right, but let's go ahead to what is more important for today. This is why I said once it's 8:10, we'll stop admitting people once it's 8:10, because I don't like the distraction. You guys might not be hearing that somebody wants to join the class. So from over here, it stops. Okay, so let's run this. Today's going to be an interesting class, very interesting class. We run this. That's awesome. So we have entered the data set into through pandas, and then we have saved this into df. Df just simply means data frame. You can call it anything. You can call it countries underscore df. You understand? You can call it countries underscore df. It doesn't. So if you want to view it, we do countries, understand, underscore df. But it's going to be a lot of work for me. So let's just leave it at df. Let's leave it at df. So I'm just telling you that the df there it doesn't mean a must. Now, when you come to collab and you do something like, I think I have to make this a little bit. Let me make my screen big. Is it proper this way now? Is it okay this way? Hello, am I still? That's why the thing
Yes,
is,
yes, it's okay. Because in order to keep it simple, the DF is okay.
okay, fine. So once
Same,
you
same.
say df and then you run it this way on collab, what it's going to do is that it's going to print out the first, because we've started now, it's going to print out the first 5 rows. What's going on? It's going to print out the first 5 rows and then the last 5 rows. That's what it's going to print out for you anytime you run df. like that too. Once you just run df like that, that is what you will get. Okay, is that cool? So it gives you the first 5 rows and then the last 5 rows. So let me show you what I'm saying. This is the first 5 rows. This is the last 5 rows. So you can count 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, then 200 and whatever, down to 209. So without even trying to look for that, it will tell you how many rows you have. So in this data set, we have 210 entries. So 210 entries, and then we have 6 variables. You understand what I mean by variables, right? Right, guys?
Yes, boss.
Yeah.
So
So,
the column, the column.
okay. So having said that, let's move ahead. So if you just want to know the shape of, you want to know the total record of just, you can just do df.ed and then you get your answer. But what if you just want to see it shortly? Like you just want to see, you just want to view it. You just come down and okay, let me run away from here because I've already done df, so no need. So let's go to where we did before. Don't do all of these things past yesterday. These are JSON files. So let me just close. Where is that place again? I can easily close it from the top. Okay, fine. I already close it here. Yeah. So I'll close. Come in. I just want to close this thing so that the code can be neat and then I can easily run up. Now, this is the beautiful thing about collab. It can collapses what you don't want anybody to see, just collab them. And then you see it's easy for me to flow. So I've read from the web and we've done DF and I can just come down here to exploratory data analysis where we are. This is where we are, exploratory data analysis. So there's no need for me to read a data set because we are working with DF. So I'm going to comment this line. So I'm not working with this line anymore. And then let me just come over here and run the DF. So DF, so you've seen this already where we can get the top 5. And don't forget, these are the rows. Oh, these are the rows. Sorry, the variables. Hospital per capita, hospital bed underscore per 1,000. So this is more like these are derived variables. Life expectancy. So this 64 point something, I think it's a percentage anyway. We'll check about it because it looks like it's more of a percentage. They're calculating it based on something. And then you have GPD per capita. So for every capita, what is their GPD? For every hospital bed per 1,000. For every hospital bed, what is the percentage per 1,000? I think that's what we are having here. And then life expectancy. So maybe what is the percentage? And let me go over here. So where's my scroll? Population. What is the population of the of the country, and then what continent, and what is the location? So we can change this place instead of location. We can change it to country. But okay, now we have seen that. What if I want to see the first 5? I just want to see just to view it, just to see. I'm not interested in seeing it all of them like that. You don't want to see it like that. So you just do .ed, df.ed. So what .ed will do is it will bring out the first 5 rows for you. So you can easily see, okay, this is the first 5. But this is what you can visual, you can use to view the data. I'm tempted to speak pidgin English. So this is what you will use to view the data. So this is just only of the first 5 rows. So this is common. But if you don't want to see the first 5 rows, you want to see the last 5 rows, you do df.tape. So df.tape will give you the last 5 rows by default to give you the last 5 rows. But again, if I want to see, what if I want to see the first 20 rows or the 20 entry? I can do that df.ed, but this time I'll pass in the numbers that I want to see. So I just run it 20.ed. So you see, it's going to count from. Be checking this place. This place are the index, guys. So it's going to run down to 19. Why is it stopping at 19? Because actually, counting started from 0, so from 0 to 19. So you can also do that for T. You want to see the last 10. Let's say we want to see the last 10. Df dot T. Thing 10. I want to see the last 10. So these are the last 10 data sets. Okay. But there's a limit to your df.add. If you write df.add underscore, maybe you write, let's say 100. There's a limit to it. I think the limit is 60 or 75. So you see that if you do df.add, it's going to truncate it. So it's just giving the first 5, and then it's going to give you the last 5. But there's a way you can work on this. I think it's using python.set display. Forgot it. I always forget that stuff. But if I want to do it, I can easily just pick up the function. I think I forgot it, but I know it's pd.set. Can't even remember. This set option. Set option bracket. Let me pull it up. Display. Okay. So there's a display stuff you use here, and then you set it. So this is what we always use to. If I want to do it, I always pick it up from the documentation or thereabouts. So with set display, you can display how many rows that you want it to display underscore mass underscore rows. Let me see if this will work. And then let me just set it to be 100, for example. Let me see. I don't know if this will work for. Okay, so I think I have to pull it up. So let me pull it up for you guys. PD set option for Massimo rows. Okay, let me pull that up. So you see, this is how you answer. All right, so this is it. What was the difference? This was what I was doing just now. Is this not what I wrote just now? Okay. Now I've seen the error. Look at the error. This is the one I just did. The error was simple. I should have used dots instead of mass. So you get the idea now. So yeah, let me run this now. Okay, so there's piece, and then when I run dots 100, it's not going to truncate it anymore. I think I have to scroll inside. So it's not going to truncate it anymore. It's going to give me actually 100 rows. So this is 0, and then it's just going to pick down to I have to scroll down to 100 rows. Is that understood? So this is where this code, the same way you are doing dot mass rows, you can do also for columns. It's very important. Okay. So by default now, anytime I do, let me comment this part. We want this to comment that part off. So the same way you can do for .add, you can do for .t also. Then last thing I want to show you guys, what if I want to see random samples? I don't want you to give me the first 5, the first 20. I just pick random samples. Okay. So if I want to do that, I'll do df.sample. Well, what is the random sample in that data set I want? Okay, I want just give me a random sample of, like, let's say 5. Random sample of 5. Once you do it, see, it's going to pick randomly and give you 5 samples. So this is, you see the index are not accurate. This is 173, jump 130, 11. So this is df.sample. You can use df.sample to just, so, but anytime you run this code, it brings out different data sets. Just be looking at this index, 1756. If I run it again, 160.29. You see? So that's sample for you. You can say you want to see 100 and the rest. So what did I use sample? I was deploying a diabetes prediction model with Python on Streamlit. Is a web app for machine learning that you can use to deploy models. The model you are using to train maybe for prediction. If somebody will have diabetes based on the data set, future predicting. So, and I needed to dashboard it. When the person comes to the web app, you will see tables that has diabetes record to tell you that this is the table we are using to train this model. But I don't want it that anytime you come, you see fixed data sets. You understand? You come today on the web app, you see the same data set, you come again. So each time you refresh the web app, what I did was that dot sample we refresh the data set that it gives to you. So you always see new data sets. You always see new data sets. You always see new data sets on that app. So that's where dot sample comes. See, this is the goal. You learn pandas, good. Learning is important, but beyond learning is application. What makes you look smart in what you do is how you apply them. As simple as an if function, how you can apply it will make you good. There are many people who knows how to code, but the question becomes, where do you apply them? At what point you are writing a code and you say, I need to apply this, I want this. What in the Python? Maybe say I will use to apply this thing. That's the idea. Get it? So fine. So that's where df comes, dot sample comes. Okay, so we have already seen how to get the shape of this thing. We've already seen how to get the shape, the number of rows. If you just do df normally, what we did at the top, if you do df, let me comment all of this line because I don't want them to be affecting the code when I scroll up. Okay. So if you do normal df here, you see it will give you the total number of rows and then the columns. But the sharp way to do is to just write df.shape. So df.shape returns the total number of rows of data entry and then the columns for you. So this is a tuple. So you can work it out like this. This is where you can work it out. You can say df, let's say you can say rows and column. Rows and columns is equals to df.shape. And then you can then say print that the data set. So data set has rows, column. So because the first thing to get is row, so the data set has that rows. Okay, it should not be there. That rows, and then it also has some way to copy this. So I can just put -1 in this case. So I put -1 here. And then I'll write columns. Finish. That's all. So when I run it, so you tell me data set has 200 rows and 6 columns. So that's dot shape. So let's see the info. What does info does? So info shows us the total number of columns that we have in the data set, and then it checks if they have what is the number of null values, and then what is the data type. So this is it. So this is the columns that we have: location, continent, population, life expectancies, hospital per bed, 1,000 CGPA, and then it counts how many null values do we have. So we have 210 null values. So there are actually no empty values inside this row, no empty value here. But when you come down, you see that we have 207 here. So there's an empty value here. So there's a null value here, and also there are no values here, and there are no values here. So because they are not up to the total entries, which is 210. Do you understand? Guys, are we following? Or I don't lost now?
Yes.
Okay. So and then the D type represents what is the if you do essay, when you are writing essay, you can convert to text is a number. This column is number, this column is text, this column is float, and all of that. So the D type tells you what is the data structure or data type of this each column. Anywhere you see object in Pandas, it means it is a string. And then it tells you that this part is a float. One thing I've noticed is that anywhere there's a missing value, Python reads it as a float. Any number, any like a number, an integer, or you understand, columns, and there's a missing value. Immediately Python notices there's a missing value, it takes it to a float. So the only way you cannot easily just convert, like you can't convert a missing value column. For example, let's say there are missing values in, this is a practical project, so I should be showing you guys things, but I don't want that. Oh, hi people. But do you understand what I'm saying? Okay. But you know, see, that's my symptom is that I like to show things, but sometimes it's not necessary. So let's say you have a data set called, I'll just do two, just do data is equal to, these things I do so that some people will learn. I like people learn. I like it when people learn. It gladdens my heart. And I want to see you guys at conferences where you say, you know, I learned a lot. So let's just say name should be, it should be a list. I almost created a JSON file. Okay, let's use a JSON file. Let's use a JSON file. Let me see how many persons will remember this JSON file. So what type of JSON file am I creating now? So name will be and people, what type of JSON file am I creating now? We did that yesterday. Let index 0 also be let index 0 be piece, and then we do like that. People are not responding, I will leave it to what type of JSON file is this? What type of JSON file am I creating? Eh? Okay, no problem. Everybody, good night. So, I'm serious. Hold on, I'm just in the class. Everybody will go. Have I imported number? In this case, I need to import something. Hello. Okay, I think I have to mute my mic now. So when you guys have the answer, you come and let me know, yeah? Bye.
Index, sir. Hello?
It's not in the desk. You tried, but it's not in the desk.
The list comprehension.
You just threw Python out of the room.
Is it split?
No, it's not split. So just be guessing. Since you already know, somebody have said index, somebody says split. So just be guessing. Just guess the format. Maybe eventually we'll know one. But we did this thing yesterday now. Just yesterday, yeah. It's not fun. It's not funny. It's not funny at all. It can never be a nested dictionary. No. There's a type of JSON file. If I want to read this file now, I'll read it as is a dictionary we are creating, definitely, but I'm creating it as a format of, is it like a JSON? Like a JSON file, for example. Let's say you can have a JSON file like this now. Or is it me that don't know what I'm doing again? So I think I want to add another. This is not part of today's class, but I'm just doing this for, I think I'll leave it safe. Let me just write. You guys are not encouraging me now.
It looks like index.
It looks like index. Are you sure?
Yes.
Okay, so we'll do it. Let's see. So the age of this person should be, let's say, the page should be 30. Fine. So I'm going to run it. Okay, so if it's a dictionary, normally, you just if it's a dictionary, you come here and say new DF, new underscore DF, because I don't want to affect the DF that we have. Is equals to PD dot data frame, because it's a dictionary now, data frame underscore JS. Let's see what it will give us. JS underscore 5. And then run it. Okay, fine. So let's do new DF. If you run it like that, new DF and run it. Fine. So this is it. If you load it as a dictionary, it gives you something like this, and then you can come back here and say you want to load it as new underscore df2 is equal to pd dot read. Oh, I have to save it as a JSON file. I have to save it as JSON. I can't come and be saving it. So for me to do that, I have to save it as JSON file. So he's speaking it as a dictionary. So even if I do reports check set, oh, I don't go and go, I beg. And I said f equals to JSON dot load. I want to load JS underscore 5. But although this is me going to where I don't want to go to, but it's fine. JSON dot my dictionary has no attribute read. JSON has no attribute read. Okay. It's me going to where I don't want to go to, but anyway. Should be don't. I should use don't. Just a minute, guys. Okay, so what I was trying to do is that I wanted to, I just wanted to, change it to from a dictionary to a file, but I don't know why JSON is not doing that. But anyways, like I never know what brought me here, so I'm just going to leave that. It's not part of the class. So let me stick to what is the class. So what I was trying to show you is simple. I was trying to show you that if you have something like age, you could see that I set it as what? This is what? Integer, isn't it? Follow me now, right?
Yes.
Because there is a null value. Because there's a null value. Because there's a null value. All right, you can mix. Because there's a null value, you see that it's converted it. Pandas converted this file back to a float. If you do df.info here, new df, new underscore df.info, this background stuff we are doing is going by 9 p.m. I think we'll start asking some stuff. So if you do .info and you run it, you see it's going to tell you that we have 3 null values in age, but we have 2 null values because there's a missing value. And then the data type is float. She's reading it as float. But when we created it, we're creating it as what? Integer. So if I remove this part, this MP does, that MP, this is numpy dot NAM, meaning create a null value. That's how you create a null value when you are working. So if I do things like, let me set it to 20 back and I run this code, run this, and run it back. Did you see that it kept it the way it should be? So
yes.
So we are not just learning the coding, but you're also learning mechanism. So you can see it's back to integer 4. This is because somebody has taken time to understand, oh, these are pandas work. All right. So the goal I was showing you, why I'm going back to this place, because it's an error that most people have when they are trying to work on data. That it's possible you read the data here and you see age as this. You know, say, this thing is decimal. It ought not to be so in a data set, but you want to now convert the age column. This is an advanced stuff anyway. It's part of. So you want to convert the age column back to an integer. You want to say, I want to convert it back to an integer. So to do that, I'll do df underscore age column, and I'll say dot as type, and then I'll write it. So meaning I want it to become an integer. It's going to give me an error telling me that so key error age. Let me find why. Oh, sorry, not df. It ought to be new df. But anyway, what I wanted to do, let's say I want to go give me error before self. So once you do new df, it gives you an error. So that's what I want. It's going to tell you that it cannot convert this integer because of there is a null value. You understand? Because there's a null value inside, so you cannot convert it. So I think another way we used to do, I don't know if as type has n is equals to false, but there's a place. Okay, so when I'm searching, I can do that. Can't do that here. All right, I find out. Okay, so for you to be able to do this, maybe you want to convert it back to integer. You have to first of all undo these missing values. Maybe turn them to 0. Wherever you see a missing value, turn it to 0. But we'll see that later. I just wanted to show you guys what it looks like. Is that understood and clear? I hope I've done justice by trying to do that. So, but when you also do df.type, df.dtype, this is a method or an attribute, sorry. So once you run df.dtype, it just only brings out the data type for you for each column. And this is if the attribute here is a series. This is a Pandas series. It's a series. It just brings out a series, so you're telling the data type. So you can always do df.dtypes, or you can do df.newinfo. So I'm going to comment all of these parts just to not disturb the flow of our code. So comment that and comment this too. Great. So great. So we already have NumPy here, but no problem. Let's just comment it and not run it. Okay, so let's move ahead with our df. Another thing we can do, what if we want to know the number of columns inside the df? Just do df dot columns, and it will bring out, what is this, guys? I don't know, let me question you. What is this? When you see it as Python, what do you, who's joining this class?
Variables.
Variables, yeah, but not really variables. What is the data structure of this thing? What is the data structure? Is a list. Thank you very much. Is a list. This is a list. So it tells you that when you do df.columns, it returns a list for you of the it returns the list of, you know, of the columns inside. This is very, very important because there are many ways you can do a lot of things in Python. But guys, remind me of this part, this list. I can change the name of a column. I can change the name of a column very, very easy with this. Very, 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 very easy. It's very easy. So we'll practice that with the word location. We'll practice it. Then very, very important stuff. Please remind me of this. I think after that, I'll just name it here. I'll just put it here. Let me put it here and say how to rename columns. In Pandas. Let's just put that here. How to rename columns in Pandas, and then I'll write how to let's see, reorder columns in Pandas. Right. So let's leave those two stuff there. So df.describe, this is very important. What df.describe does for you is that it gives you a statistical analysis of the numerical concept, the numerical variables rather, not concept, numerical variables. So let's say all your numerical values we did here, it gives you a statistical representation of it. Like, oh, the population, this is the total number of population in terms of count that I counted. And then this is the total rows. I don't know why it's even giving dots. It ought to count 207 in terms of the rows. I don't know why it's giving me 2 point something million. But anyways, so it tells you the maximum value inside each row. So for example, now minimum value inside this life expectancy is 53, and then the maximum value inside is 86. So it means that everybody in these data sets, in every country in this data set, the minimum life expectancy that they think the people should live, let's say live, is 53 years. And the maximum that anybody should live is above 87 years. Is that not funny? That's funny anyway. So I would like to see Nigeria. I think this data set is COVID-19 data set. I will try and see Nigeria. What is the right with the life expectancy for Nigeria? What is the least year they think you should live in Nigeria, the highest? Don't you want to know? Also, we'll go find them out. I beg. Let's take that one as a use case. I beg. Somebody should be able to write that use cases on the comment section so that we can come back to it and look at it. So you can speak that based on the data set. This is what we saw. So hospital per bed per thousand, this is their percentage flow. And in terms of, so you see that all of these things are just, what's it called? They're just, what do I say? Numerical stuff. But what if I want to do on numerical stuff? I think they have df.describe, and then you put include. I want to include, or let me say, include. What is doing? What I've been fine read for df.describe. Matthew, you really want to see this thing? I'll write include, but it's fine, don't worry. And then let's write objects inside. I don't think if I can say exclude. Let me see if this to work in terms of past. So exclude, let me exclude. I think it's integer. All right, but I don't know. This might throw me an error. Let me see. Okay, didn't throw me an error. Fine. So what did I do here? What I did here was simple. I said, okay, this describe that you want to do. I want you to include objects and I want you to exclude integers. Meaning anywhere you see numbers, all the columns that have numbers, remove them and just give me the columns that have objects. If I remove this parameter from this place, let me cut it and say wrong. So, okay, still works. But if I want to also add integer, there's a way it would have come out that I was not wanting it to come. Why is it not coming out that way? I don't know why it's not coming out that way. But anyway, so this is how, there's a point you know too much about these things and then you get tired. So this is how you can just get the only, so this is different from this. It's different from this, you can see. Dot describe gives you the numerical stuff, but statistical stuff. But dot describe and then you pass include objects. What is going to give you is that, sorry, I'm just curious about something. I know something that I think I can pass that will work. I've forgotten this thing. Now, this is funny. Wait. Please type. Okay, the data type. If you're not seeing my screen, I think it's your network call. Okay, guys, all of anything I'm doing is for your sake. Okay, didn't get all. Let me see what's going on. Parameter. What parameters does include? Literal. All right, let me just stick with my objects and move ahead. I don't know. I was trying to look for something. What normally happens is that there's a way you do it. It will bring the two out. So I don't know. Maybe I've forgotten that one. So if you do this object, what you get is count. It counts how many columns the same way, but this time there's another method that comes out unique. Unique tells you how many unique location do we have inside this data set. Is 210. How many unique continents? See, this is the funny thing. How many counts of rows did he get from continents? 210. But how many unique continents do we have? He said just 6. And then what is the top data set? What is the number one on the data set? It's Afghanistan. What is the number one continent in the data set? It's Africa. And then what is the frequency of this stuff? And then what is the frequency of Africa? So what it's telling us is how many times the Africa Afghanistan repeated in the data set. It said just one, meaning there's no repetition of this. But how many times they do have Africa repeating in the data set? We have it as 55. So this is a lot. This tells you a lot already. If you're doing analysis, this tells you a lot already about the data set. Great. So I think I've covered all the basic stuff I need to cover when you are working with data sets. Okay, another basic stuff we need to do is how to check for a missing value. So let's put that there. How to check for, how do I check for missing values? So let's write that down. So how do you check for missing values? You come down to check for missing values with df.isNA, and then just run it like this way first. So if you do df.isNA, what does isNA means? isNA means it's not a number. Another method that works is this. They do the same thing. Either you do isNA or you do isNum. So it will still give you a table. So let's just leave it as isNum. Or which one do you prefer, guys? Majority wins the vote. Which one do you prefer? isNA or isNum? Okay.
Yeah.
No.
isNum. All right, fine. So as you do isNum, what it's going to do is that it's going to bring out a truth and false table for you. This is truth table, meaning there's no duplicate in this. There's no missing value here. Anywhere you see true, it means that there's a missing value. This is a missing value. But we cannot understand much from this now. So another way we can work it out is to add dot sum to it. So what we want you to do is that check for every column the missing values. Sum the ones that are true. That's what we are looking for. Sum the ones that are true. So it's not going to sum the false. It's just going to sum only the true for us. So we'll do it. So once you do dot sum, it's going to tell you the numbers of missing values. So this is the missing values. We have 46 missing values in this column. Sorry, in this column 46. This column we have 3. This we have 24. So do you understand? So I can change this thing to a data set. I think I can change it to a data set where I can do sometimes the more you know something, it affects the way you teach. I can change to reset underscore index. I think this is a series. Is this a series? Is this a series? Is it a series? So fine. So I've changed it to a data set. So I can say, okay, now that I've changed it to a data set, I want to rename this part. This the index column, because this is a column. It's saying this is the column is the index and whatever is. So I want to change this to columns, and then I want to change this into missing values, total count of missing values. So this will lead me to this place, how to rename columns in Pandas. But before we go there, let me copy it and just paste it under here. But before we do that, I want to show you something else. The shortest way to just check if there's a missing value in your data set. Instead of doing this, if df.isNown.sum, to just check if there's shortest way that I do it. I do df.isNown. Oh, you guys said isNown is like it was what you follow. So isNown dot, I'll do dot sum dot dot values dot any is what I do. It just once I see true, I know that there are missing values inside. So what am I doing here? You know, normally I said if you do df.isNown, it gives you a truth table in true and false table. Then if I do dot values converts it to, I will not say anything. I will let you guys say what it is. How many dimension array is this one? I don't really show you the answer. How many dimension array is this?
2.
2. Fine. That's to tell you that every data frame you see is a 2-dimensional array. So once you do dot values, it converts it to a 2-dimensional array for you. Then dot any is to say that what does that any do is that if one of these things is false, it will tell you that it is false, meaning there is no missing value. But if all of these things inside the false there's a true, it will come out as true. So if I just do dot any and then what I'm going to get is true. So I know that there's a missing value. These I always check if there's a missing value. You understand? So where can I do this thing? I can do something like this. I can say if whatever you get is equals true, print something like missing value found. So missing value found s print no missing value. Guys, you know how important this thing is? You know how important this thing is? Let me show you how important it is. I can come here. Right on the switch. I can come here and say this is a function I want to do, and I'll call it missing VA value underscore checker. And then I'll collect, it will always collect a parameter called missing values. So this is the parameter it will call. It will always collect. Now it's not, I'm just going to say you check on the data frame that you have received. If there's any missing value here, tell me the missing value. If not, now you see this function I've created. Okay, sorry, I've not put this here. See this function I created. Anytime I create any data frame, anytime I'm loading a data frame, if I want to check if there's a missing value, it's not hard. What I will do is I will call this function, pass in the name of the data frame. It will easily tell me if there's a missing value or not. Did here. So let's come back and create this one.
Oh.
Let's come back and create this new. Let's create another. See, as simple as this thing, I've applied that simple knowledge of Python. So you can you can create a package, what's it called? You can create a system, a library, and post it on Pandas. What your system is doing on Pandas is simple. That you have created a package or a method that calculates if anybody's system, if anybody's data frame has missing values. That's what you have done, and publish it there. They might see it and like it and add it to Python packages. And then next time when somebody can go there and import the package that you created. And say there's a module you just import to it to just check if there's missing values for you. No need for you to be coding on any of these things. People like shortcuts. That's one thing about coding. So we have created a new data frame called missing value. I mean, it's a new data frame. It has missing value. Let me go back to this place where we created that function. Look at it. I can come here and say missing underscore var underscore checker, and write that new underscore df, and I run it. Did you see it told me missing value found? Can you see it? It's already telling me that there's a missing value found. And this was for more English don't finish on my mouth. When I understand this thing,
Yes.
English don't finish on my mouth. It's 9 o'clock. Oh, yeah, ask questions. English finish on my mouth just now. Arizi, are you there? Oh, yeah, ask question, ask question. If you have any question, somebody wanted to ask a question before. Oh, yeah, better ask your question now. Let me use that to calm down. You get person who won't ask question. Maybe the person ask the question now. When I started this thing, person won't ask question before. Is the person still there? Is the person there? Or we should go ahead?
Let's proceed. I doubt.
Okay, great. I will go ahead. So I think nobody still gets any question to ask here. So you can learn with this. All right, so that's how you check if there's missing values or not. Cool. We have answered that. We have answered that. What if we want to now work with missing values? What if after you discover there's a missing value, now you want to now undo missing values? You want to undo it. So how to undo missing values? Fine. So you want to know how to undo. You want to undo missing values. So you have decided that anywhere where you see missing values, and they are all because this one they are all numbers. You get the idea? They'll be number. They are not. If for say missing value is the continent, you know if you replace them as 0 now. Shape because that's an integer. Now objects. You person if they check countries, list of countries, you can't see 0 for there. That data is already bad. So you can only change missing values when you know that okay. For example, they are all like if you see all these are missing values now all objects now all what's this called? They are all floats now numerical columns. So it's easy to just do it. But in the case where there's a missing value inside location, what I want to do now is not the best practical way. The best practical way is that you handle it separately. So you can do something like df, you slice. Now these are you can select just a single column. You write the so you see I'm going to click like expectancy, and then I'm going to do dot fee now, meaning fee any non value you see with 0. And then I'm going to let me just run this. So what it's going to do is that it's going to give me a new series. I beg, who not understand what I mean by series? What if it is? When I say a new series, what I talk? What I mean? If I say something a new series, what I talk? What do you mean? What do you drink this time? What do I mean if I say something a new series?
Row.
No.
A new column.
A new column. Thank you. It's going to be a new column. It's giving a new column. So because it's giving a new column, what you need to do is that it's not actually saving it into your data frame. It's just telling you that you don't feel okay, the null value is going inside this place with 0. But this is the new column. So what you do for it to take effect inside your data frame, you will assign it back to that column. You assign it back to life. Interesting, because I don't have that power. You assign it back to this. Therefore, copy the things from. Okay, you assign it back to it. So okay, replace what we'd already get for our data set. Replace them with the new one we don't. So once you run it, fine. If I come back here and run df dot is now. Let me use is now this case. Is now dot sum. Sure, you see, say life expectancy not get missing values again. Can you see it? It not get missing values again compared to here where it gets 3. But what if, since I already know, say every of my data set will get missing values now numbers, because all of these things are numbers. The way to just do it is just simple. I'll do df dot fill now. I mean, anywhere you see an empty value, put it at 0. Let me spell this way, and I'll run it. So it's going to give me a new what is this one now? A new what is this?
Data frame.
Yes.
Thank you very much. Who is that person? You deserve more. Please raise your hand. Let me see you. That person, I better raise your hand. Or unmute your mic. Unmute your mic. Don't reach time to praise person. They shame. Who answered me just now?
People answered, sir.
Who?
2 people
can't-
answered.
I can't see. I said you should raise your hand. I want to know who answered me just now.
2 people answered, sir.
Somebody said a new column. Who said a new column? A new data frame.
Okay, that was me.
Okay, almost said it. Oh, okay. Okay. No problem. No problem. Mark that name down. Almost said it. Fine. So this is a new data frame. So the fact that it's a new data frame, it means that you have to restore it back into your data frame. You have to put it back. So to replace your entire data frame, because you have said, in my entire data frame, I want you to replace 0. Replace empty value with 0. It will do it, but it will not save it automatically. That's why it's printing it out. So you have to save it back to your data frame so that it will override what you have already on your data frame. So you run it. Now, if I come back here and write, man, I'm not finished what I want to do. Today is what? Wednesday. We only have tomorrow. That's amazing. df dot is now dot sum. Somebody will come and tell us, why did you make this thing 5 days safe? So now you can see that there are no missing values anymore. No missing values. This is how you handle missing values, guys. Okay, so these are your answer missing values. All right. So let's move ahead. What if how you select rows before we do rename columns? Let's just call these rows in pandas, columns in pandas. Yeah, let's call these columns in pandas. So first thing is how you can select columns. How you select columns in pandas? Let's put that way. So how do you select columns in pandas? So the first way, let's say you want to select a single column. To select a single column, you do it as df. Then you put your brackets, close and open bracket, and then you index the. So I'm going to just put. Let me work with something. Let's work with location. You just index the name of the column that you want. So this is how you can do it, and then it will work. So it will give you a series. Because it's a single column, it's going to give you a series outcome. Another way, and you see it's also truncating it. So it means that .h can apply here, and .t can also apply here. What about .sample? Let's check. I don't know about .sample. Let's just do .sample2, and .sample2 can also apply. Fine. So these are you select a single column. Okay. Another way people do it is people do things like df dot location. This will also work. So you see, I can also get this. But where this thing has an issue is this. There are some columns that you have space. You understand? Some columns that have space inside. If you do df dot that column and then you give space and you write, maybe you now write code, you get errors. So it's going to throw you an error, invalid error. But if, for example, you have something like df, and then you put it in bracket like this. Let's say there's a column like that too. So if you do something like this, it will always work. So this is why pandas people normally use this instead of the dot, the column name. This is commonly used because it helps to resolve column names that have space in between them. Please, is that understood? Wanna understand that one?
Yes.
Yeah?
Yes.
See, the thing is that even for class 9, you not get everything on them, you don't learn. With this thing where you don't learn, as in you've learned. This is what I teach you, what I teach you. I know what it took to just learn these things. Practice upon practice upon practice. Because I told you I have books, I have to practice. There's still a lot to read because Pandas is amazing. Pandas is amazing. People who would settle down and build Pandas, they try. That's why they. Okay, so another thing you can do. What if I want to select multiple columns? So multiple columns in Pandas. So what you do is that you do a nested list. No, it's a nested list. You do get you do okay. Let me not explain that. Remember that every every series is a one-dimensional array. This is a one-dimensional array. How do I know? If I do something like follow me, this is the concept before coding. If I do something like location dot values, what dimension of array is this? Let me do dot end. How many dimension of array is this?
One.
Wanna follow me? This thing. So every column is a one-dimension array. But when it comes to every data frame, what is the dimension array? What is the dimension of is a two-dimension? Thank you. So it's a two-dimension. So if you're adding two columns together, or you're adding three columns or 5 columns or whatever, Pandas sees it as a two-dimension array. So if it sees it as a two-dimension array, it means that if you want to choose multiple columns, you must make it come out like a two-dimension array. How? It will be df. This is the first dimension. This is the second dimension. Then you're not passing the columns names. Location, comma. Let's put continents. Now it doesn't mean if I use small column or it's the same thing, it will work. Let's use continent. I think there's continents. Is it continents or continents? So let's run this one. If it's continents, it will tell me if it's continents. So this is it. This is how you can pull out 2 rows or multiple rows inside. So I just put out 2. If I want to pull out another one, that should be, we'll be working with life. Bring a comma now. Life waiting again. Expectance. This one. I think so. Fine. You see, I've pulled out multiple columns out. Now, if you copy this, let's copy it because I'm teaching you the mechanism of Python now. It's very important. This class is already going far. I think we have to stop. Values. If I do dot values now, it comes out as this is a 2-dimension. Whether you like it or not, let me scroll up. See, it has given you is a 2-dimension array. 1, 2. Just write dots n times. And this thing I'm doing now, it is numpy. This is numpy. That's why we say you need to know numpy before you know pandas. Because all this n time now numpy for them. So it's a 2-dimension array. So listen, all pandas data frame are 2 dimensions. So that's why you must do this. If you make mistake copy this thing like this, paste it, and you forget to make a double stuff. You made it in one time, a vector. You go get error. Do you understand? You will get error. You will get error. So that being said, you understand the concept. But again, the beautiful part here is that I can decide to say, I don't want, because if you do df now, let's just do df.add, df.add. I just want to see the first two and I run it. You see the way the columns are arranged: location, continent, population. What if I want it first? I want to see the population, I want to see the location, I want to see the continent. It's not hard. What I need to do is I'll just, let me copy this part. This is the column. I'll paste it here. Internet. I want to see the population first. I want to see the life expectancy after the population. Then I want to see the location, and then I want to see the continent. You see that the way I selected it, that is how it will come out. Now, this is when we say Python can be manipulative. Your data set, this is how you read your data set, but you can rearrange the way you want it instantly. I don't know if anybody understand what I'm saying now. When I get this concept, so you can decide how you want it to arrange, and then you can save them back inside your data frame. You go override with you get for DF, and then this one you call it work with. So somebody give you a data set of how you maybe it's scattered, so if you arrange them, this how you can work with columns. Very, very important. So which other thing I want to teach you again with columns? That's I don't know how to rename columns. So it's very simple. If I show you that send as the rename column, then automatically I don't teach you how to drop column. If you want drop column, you know they hard. What you need to do is this: is that you go select the columns. Let's say I want to drop this hospital bed, for example. If I want to drop this one, what I will do is say I will come back here. I'll come back here. I'll copy this. Let me just copy this one and set it here. And then assign it to a new df. So I'll call it df2, for example. I'm going to say df2 is equal to this, and then I'll run them. So I'll stop to the work with df, normal df. I'll begin the work with df2. So if I run df2.add 5, for example, have I not dropped? I never dropped that column already. Sure, I don't drop the column.
Yes, yes.
Drop the column. That's how you can easily drop a column. By just doing this selecting, you drop it. I don't need that column. But also there is another way you can drop a column. Let's say I want to drop a, let me drop column with df2 now. I want to drop this one. So I can come here and say df2.drop. What do I want to drop? I want to drop this. And then I think I always find the axis. So I think this should be axis. The axis is equal to 1. I think so. I don't know. Maybe if I get an error, I'll know. Okay, fine. So when I do something like this, df2.drop this column, and the axis, when I mean axis is 1, I mean I'm talking about this part, the columns. If you say axis is 0, you are talking about the rows. So this is another way you can drop a column. I've dropped it. So you can see that from df2, you don't have this GDP per capita again. So I don't drop them. So this is also the drop columns. You can drop column like this, or you can just drop it by selecting. So how many ways I don't show how to drop column? 2 good ways. Any question? Okay, so what if I want to rename a column? So if I want to rename a column, very, very simple. like this one, and let's work with this one. So this is a new DF. So let's call this one DF3. Let's say this data, we can save it as DF3. This is a new data frame. Is here. I think I'll stop because of information overload for here. Move ahead not to skip. So if I do DF3, maybe the 5 days might not be enough, but my joy is that you've learned something. That's the idea. So this is DF3, and then we have index as column. And so I want to rename this to column. It's very simple. What I will do is this. Two ways I'll do it is I can come back here and say that okay, DF3 dot columns is equal to this. Set it to be this. The first one should be the column, and then the next one should be total. Yeah, let me do this one. Total missing values, and then I'll run it. So if I run it like this, simple. Anytime I say DF3, I run them. Wait till I see. Have I not changed the column already? You see the column don't change.
Yes.
Because why? This DF3 dot columns now list. This is a list. Let me assign a new list back to it. So if I assign a new list back, go just replace waiting the comma before for you with the new list. Simple. That is it. You have renamed the column. Another way you can rename the column is to do something like what is that? I've forgotten the distinct. DF dot rename, DF3 dot rename, and then in that rename you pass in a dictionary. Sorry, you first of all write columns. You want to rename columns, and it's a column, and then you set it to be columns is equal to, you pass in a dictionary. I'm going to tell you which one day is the pass. So yeah, sometimes a short code 9 I don't know you want to. So you pass in a dictionary with the old name and key it with the new name. Column. So I'll pass another dictionary containing this one. And then I'll key it with the new name that I want. So let me call it total underscore missing underscore values. But before I do that, let me go back and remind you guys what I taught you before. If in this place, if I go back here and do df dot columns, I'll get an error, but anyway, let me df dot columns. See, you correct now. Oh, sorry, df3. Now they work with df3 dot say df3 dot columns, you draw something out. But this other part where you get space, remember I tell you if you do this kind of thing, you'll get error. The column they exist, but you see you get value error. So that's why you always do it like df and then put it in this to cover the space. And by the time you run them, so say they don't tell us. Okay, fine. So I just say let me show you guys that one. So another way you can, like I said, you rename a column. If you run this now, by the time you press, so it will give you a new data frame anyway. So let's run df3 first. Let me see what is going on. df3, let me see if the effect has changed. It has not changed. So what you come back here and do, there's what we call in place. Python will should depreciate it anyway. Python should depreciate it, but there's a thing called in place. You just say in place is equal to true, meaning override the previous df. Simple, and then you run it. See, I don't change them. But my people, let's not stress ourselves. This one, and the one I do before. Which one is simple pass? This one I just do now, and this one, and this list. I bet which one they see pass?
The one with
About
the
the
form.
first one.
Eh?
The former
The
one.
first one.
So that's to tell you that a code in Python two codes cannot look alike, can never look alike, because there are many ways to kill a rat here. So if I give you an assignment, say go do something, everybody they submit code. Everybody code look alike, then there's an issue. There are some persons that this is how they do it. How I would remember all these things, I know you know. Because more and more you they use them, more and more you they think. Sometimes I go to the code and say, can I try this thing? I'll just try your work. So sometimes I go back to my code to go and learn. Instead of going to YouTube sometimes, I go back to code that I've written to go and learn. See, I do this thing, shit. I don't know. Especially when I'm doing visualization. God Almighty. I always go back to my code to go and learn visualization. Because sometimes there are some graphs I will plot. How I plotted that graph, I don't, but I know on that day when I was coding, there was a spirit. Shebi? That's what I did. Okay. Or there was somebody sitting close to me that was telling me, type out like this. But there are some days where you go type out, you go look the code go look you. You will tell yourself, I beg you, this data science stuff. I see product design all do. I see graphics design all do. I say na code. Give me Excel or give me Power BI, let everybody rest. What's it Python? There are days like that too. And there are days where when you get the answer, your laptop's already off. So that's sometimes it's when you sleep, now you go wake up, you know say na command you dey miss and then to work for you. So that's the life of a programmer. Okay, so I've taught you guys how we can handle columns, delete, and all of that. I think the next one I should have taught you is how to delete rows. How do you remove rows and the rest? But I don't know. I don't think I have that strength to continue on that, guys, because I had a very busy day today. So I just got home. I got home 7:48. That's when I got home, 7:48. And I had to pick my system and join this class exactly by 8 o'clock. So I think this is how long I can go. So tomorrow, sorry about that. I know it might not sound professional, but sorry. Tomorrow we'll continue from, I have some set of questions on that data frame, that country data frame. So we'll answer all of this, and when we are done answering all of this, we'll just do some other things like how can you sort. So remind me, just somebody can pick it so that people will come to me first of all, how to sort, how to reset index and the rest. Let's just do all those stuff. How to sort your data frame. How do you reset index and the rest? But I think while answering all of these questions, we'll see them there. If there's no question for me, I don't know. Is there any question? Anybody has a question? Okay, so I assume that we have at least 15 persons in this cohort. That's my assumption, 15 persons. So I'm suspecting that we were giving that certificate should not be more than 15 persons. And I know everybody's name now. I know when somebody joins new. And again, from tomorrow, if you come late, by 8:10, I might not be allowed to admit anybody anymore. All right. So, any question? Okay. So let me assume that everybody has filled their attendance form. If you have not filled your attendance form, it's on the chat. The link is pinned to the chat. So you go there and then fill your attendance form. All right, guys. Are you ready? Over. Don't just run off. Wait. There might be some things he needs to tell you. I noticed that each time I just say I am done. Once you guys hear Arize, the next thing is explore that. Notes. I'm not sure. I'm not sure I'm allowed to give you notes. So these are my personal. These notes are not just my. These are notes I created myself. Understand? But what I can give you, I already given you the link to the data set. So what I can do what I would say you should do is that you can copy the link. We not do this GitHub or this. Okay, no problem. Maybe tomorrow. So what you can do is copy the link of this GitHub, which I did yesterday. Let me just send it back here, and then you now download it on your CSV file, as a CSV file on your system. I hope you know how to download. Hmm? I hope you know how to download.
Yes.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Not like how to download, like download. How you can download with Python. Download it like through Python. You just download it
No,
and
sir.
then you use.
No, sir, I can't. I can't
Oh,
download it through Python.
okay. Okay. I know. I know. I know. I know you don't know how to download it through Python. But you can what do I say now? I'm saying you can, I'm already typing the code. But you can try it out. Just search it out how you can, you know, download it through Python. It's not a big thing to download it through Python. Anyways, it's just for you to learn how to use import OS. How to use your file. You understand how to use your normal file. So what do I want to do now? Yeah, I'm still here. I'm not sharing my screen. I'm still here. So I just want to show you something. URL. Coming. So I'm coming, please. Then okay. So what will happen is you download it as. Sorry, I was trying to search for a code. I think I have that code. I can't really figure my head over it, but I had that code. I did it before myself, so I was trying to scrape it out for you guys from my library, but you can find it. So maybe tomorrow I might just, if I see it, I'll send it to you guys. But anyways, so that's what you can do. You can download it. I don't think you can download it directly from here, or you can use Pandas. There's a way I use Pandas to download these data sets. So anyway, okay. With that being said, Arize, thank you very much, guys. Well done. Bye. From my end, though, not from the end of the class. From my end, bye. Arize will continue.
Thank you, everyone. I hope we have a very blessed class today. Thank you, Instructor God's Gift. Is dropped in the chat. Please kindly fill your attendance. And if you have not followed us on all our social media handles, kindly do so. It is mandatory. The certificates. Thank you very much. Today is day 3. Nice seeing all of you again today. Hand our efforts with success in Jesus' name. Amen. Thank you very much. Fill your attention.